Thank you very much, Susan. And I saw that somebody commented that there was some static in my voice. If that's still the case, I could dial in with my cell phone, I suppose. Let me know if that's still the case. So thank you all for joining. I appreciate you taking the time to be with us here for this presentation. And let's look at this picture here. The year is 2030, and I'd like to introduce you to the project manager of the future. Just kidding. Actually, Asmo is a robot that was developed by Honda. It's been in production and being used since the year 2000. It has the ability to walk, run, climb stairs, and recognize specific people. And just in case it's an issue, I'm going to turn off my video so that we can maybe hear it better. So whether you're a project manager or not, there might be several thoughts that you might have about AI. You might wonder how you work with AI, or how do you get involved with AI, or how AI affects your work. Can AI help you in your work, or will it take your job away? So actually, this is where I derive the goals of this presentation. The goal is to answer your questions. I want to answer what is AI, so you can understand it a little bit better. Of course, I won't be able to go into a lot of depth, but I'll give you an overview. Also, we're going to cover how did a project manager like me get involved with AI, and what is my experience with AI as a project manager. How do I find it as a project manager working with it? How is AI developed? We'll go a little bit into that. And what does AI mean for me in my job, especially if I'm a PM? So let's have some fun and go through some of this. I appreciate, again, the organization being able to hit a great IT professional allowing me to speak, and for all of you joining. So let's go on to the next slide here. Work. Very good. Okay, so AI has several subfields. This is just a few of them. It's not an exhaustive list. Others include other elements like analytics and that type of thing. But if I go through these, you'll see some information here that you're probably somewhat familiar with. Let's start at the top of the clock here at the 1 o'clock position. Natural language processing, NLP, analyzes documents, looks at knowledge bases to feed them in and try to determine knowledge from them. Chatbots and virtual assistants would also make use of natural language processing. Planning and scheduling is about action sequencing, intelligent agents, autonomous robots, and also vehicles, autonomous vehicles. Neural networks, well, machine learning, let me go over that one. That would do spam filtering, recommendation engines like you would see on Amazon or Netflix, where it would recommend something else for you. Machine learning would also include gaming, like it would play Jeopardy or chess or video games. Neural networks. Neural networks are a form of machine learning. They could be used for things like fraud detection. Vision, of course, we got visual recognition that uses deep learning too. This might find people like pictures of family and pictures. You'll see that Facebook and Google Photos uses that. It could be also used for like medical diagnosis in oncology and radiology, taking a look at x-rays or other types of images to help a physician with diagnosis. And then expert systems. These can help with decision support, or they can make human expert decision making. Then we have speech processing. That would be both inward and outward, right? In and out. It can recognize speech, and then it can also speak. You'll see a lot of this being used in things like Alexa, Google Assistant, Siri, and Cortana, those type of things. And we see a lot of those, a proliferation of those now in the consumer market. And then robotics, right? You might be familiar with Boston Dynamics and the DARPA Robotics Challenge, and also cobots. So usually when we talk about robotics, we you'll see there's a reference in a page that I'll give you on my blog post about the 4 Ds of robotization. They come into 4 different areas of classification: dull, dirty, dangerous, and dear. Bernard Marr wrote that article, and I'll give you the reference later in the presentation where you could look that up. You might be interested in that. And then there's also another thing that we would include here would be RPA. RPA mimics human actions, while AI mimics human intelligence. So some people distinguish between those two, while others feel as though RPA is like a subset of artificial intelligence. And then let's talk a little bit about AI classification. There's 2 different ways of measuring this. I put them side by side. They don't perfectly align with one another, but if we look on the left-hand side and the bottom, we have reactive machines. So in the beginning of AI, one of the big events that we probably will find out about with the history of AI is about Big Blue playing chess against a human. So that was more on the reactive side. It had a specific goal in mind of playing chess. And then we go up to limited memory. These are things like chatbots and autonomous vehicles. These things really specify around a specific goal, and they can't really be used outside of that specific goal that they're intended for. Then we have theory of the mind. This is where AI would start to understand needs and emotions and beliefs, and then self-aware AI, which has human-like intelligence and self-awareness. You don't really see a lot of those just yet, but that is the different levels of classifying AI. And then on the right-hand side, this is another way of classifying, which is more commonly used. At the bottom, starting the bottom on the right-hand side, artificial narrow intelligence. This is also called weak AI or narrow AI. Again, it somewhat corresponds to those examples I gave on the left-hand side. You would see this, like things like chess, playing chess or playing Go, autonomous vehicles or chatbots. They only have a specific goal in mind, and they're only able to be used in that one area that they're specifically trained for. And then the next level up would be artificial general intelligence. This is also referred to as strong AI, and this is technological singularity is also another thing that we use. And this is when AI would be able to get to the point where it would generally be able to learn about and affect results in all different areas. It wouldn't necessarily be restricted to one. And then artificial superintelligence, ASI, is when AI comes to the point where it's actually more intelligent than a human being. And we see all types of science fiction movies about these things that I'm sure you're familiar with. There's also different types of machine learning.
Hi there, I hope you enjoyed that last clip. My name is Michael Maludis, and if you'd like to watch the full 60 minutes of that last webcast, while also getting complete unlimited access to our entire library of IT learning, simply visit our subscribe page at greatpro.org/subscribe. Unlimited annual access is $199 per year, but if you use the coupon code LEARN2EARN, you can drop that membership fee to just $149. That's less than $13 per month for unlimited access to over 1,000 hours of on-demand career development, covering the entire spectrum of IT management best practices, including business analysis and requirements, software development, quality and testing, risk management, process improvement, project management, and even digital transformation. But your membership doesn't just give you unlimited access to our vast learning library. You also get free access to our mobile app, as well as direct access to our network of over 300 of the world's leading IT consultants, all of whom are dedicated to putting practical knowledge at your fingertips so that you can learn more and earn more. I hope you will join me in becoming a member of the Great IT Professional and advancing your career with us. And if you're on YouTube, don't forget to hit that subscribe button above so that you get notified whenever we publish new free webcasts each week of the year. Thank you for your time and best wishes for your continued success.